was born on 28th of November 1923 in Bratislava. Bratislava was the capital of Slovakia. Altogether we were 4 girls and 2 boys in our wonderful, loving family. With the start of the Kristallnacht, everything has changed in Europe, not only in Germany, but also in Czechoslovakia. And unfortunately, it didn't take very long before the anti-Semitism started to be shown in Slovakia. It was end of 1941, beginning of 1942, when we heard that deportations to somewhere had started, but we had no idea where, what, how. Unfortunately, we were one of the first girls from Slovakia who came to Auschwitz. I can't tell you, it was something. You have to know, we were all young, innocent girls. To undress in front of those animals. And the shame stayed with me all my life. I never undressed in front of my husband, because the shame which was put on your body is everlasting.
Both of my parents are Jewish and come from Orthodox backgrounds. Almost all of my mother's family, who are Polish, were lost in the Holocaust. Those family members that came back had suffered nervous breakdowns or had other very bad psychological problems. When we saw them, you just never mentioned it to them. So the Holocaust was something that I read in books, saw on television or in movies, but never actually discussed at home or had intimate contact with. I think art plays such a big part in people's remembrance of the Holocaust. I think people often feel they don't want to read or they don't want to see the film of the actual experiences and the occurrences, but to see art, they can interpret it the way they want.
My 2 sisters and I were put in a commando of 60 girls, which was called street cleaning. So one day I had to take out trees, and I finished with my digging, and I looked around, and my 2 sisters were at a different tree. I went over there and helped them, but whilst I was doing it, an SS capo came over to me and he said, "What do you think you are doing here? For that you will be punished." The truck came to pick us up to go to the punishment camp, and they opened the back door and called the girls to go in. So I was in the very back, and the girls went in, and one SS man stood in the door and counted them, and he counted in German 18, 19, 20, and pushed the girl in, and I was the 21st. So when I approached him, so he said, "You get lost, there is no room for you."
And so she just stood there and he said, "Didn't you hear what I said in German, hau auf?" And so she ran away and she hid until it was safe for her to come out. I interpreted the work by stamping her story on the wafer board, and I use a lot of stamping and text in my work because of Lottie's number that was stamped on her hand, 2065. And that was miracle number one. In August 1942, Lotte was in the hospital. She had now developed different illnesses and was not aware of where she was or who she was.
The nurse told me, the Jewish nurse, that they are moving all the girls from Auschwitz to Birkenau to the new camp. And she said, I don't know whether they will take the sick ones. So you can't imagine, I was lying there on the bank, and Lily and Erika were going to be moved to Birkenau. The next day, a doctor came and she asked me, can you run? I couldn't even walk, but I said, I can run.
And a woman doctor came and injected her something in her spine, and she was able to get out of bed and hide again, because all of the prisoners that were in the hospital were all sent to the gas chamber.
In the middle of the night, I ran away. I just wanted my sisters to know that I'm alive. I considered it such a miracle that I survived to see them. But that happiness didn't last long, because a month later or so, 99% of the girls got typhus in Birkenau, and Lily and Erika were amongst them. After work, I went to have a look in the hospital, and they were not there anymore. And that's when I already knew that my dear mother and my whole family went through the gas chambers. How many of us perished only because they were Jewish? I knew that I'm going to touch the fence, which was high voltage wire, because I didn't see any sense in carrying on, because everybody in my family was dead. Just arrived there and suddenly I hear my name being called. She said, you come with me, I will look after you.
The third miracle deals with Lotte's ability now to work in an office. Ula said there's an office job available, and knowing that Lotte's father was an accountant, assumed that Lotte was also good at numbers.
Häftling 2065, prisoner 2065. Then he said, do you know bookkeeping? I said, yes, sir. Do you know typing? I said, yes, sir. How many words do you make a minute? I've never touched a typewriter, so I just really didn't know what to say. So I said, 125 words. So he said, na ja, we will soon see. And he rang the bell, and an SS man came in, said, bring me a typewriter, we have to test her. So I can't tell you what I felt in those 15 to 20 minutes. I thought I'll die because I never touched a typewriter. But then the doorbell rang again, and an SS man came and whispered something into his ear. So he told me, go outside, wait outside. And then that SS officer came out together with the civilian gentleman and said in German, you were very, very lucky, because this gentleman can use you all. I mean, I can't tell you what difference that made to my life. That job, which I had from 1943 to 1945, was really that I survived. I never thought that I will come out from Auschwitz and from the 4 other camps I've been alive, and that I will restart my life again, which really only started when I met my dear husband, who was also a survivor, and when we were blessed with our children. Johnny went to Israel and on the way back met Thea.
Love at first sight, and he asked me to come to New Zealand.
She was very eager to learn everything about what happened to us.
Johnny's mother grabbed a hold of my wrist and started telling me the most unbelievable stories that I had ever heard. And this project just suddenly unleashed all of Lotte's stories that were within me, suddenly came out in my interpretation of her stories.
It is unbelievable what it brought out in me and represented all what I told her.
They can see Lotte's story, but then they bring it back to their own experiences with their own family and their own children. They can somehow share this same experience with Lotte through the art.
My beautiful family, it was the biggest miracle for me, the very biggest of all. I'm now very happy mother, grandmother and great-grandmother, and I'm very grateful to God for everything He has given me in my second life.
Molei rachamim shoichein b'miroimim.
Lotte was an extraordinary woman who acted like an ordinary one. In the last 2 days since her passing, we have been overwhelmed by the incredible tributes that people all over the world have shared about their special relationship with Lotte. It was clear that Lotte had that effect on people, to make them feel special, loved and cared for, that she was their mother or grandmother too. To everyone who met her, the first thing you noticed about Lotte was her incredible positivity, love of life, and her infectious exuberance. She always had a smile and a sparkle in her eye.
Viktor Frankl, the psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor and author of Man's Search for Meaning, wrote about happiness. Everything can be taken from man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Lotte was the best example of living this that we have ever seen. Lotte told of how she sometimes dreams of her family who perished in the Holocaust and said, "When I dream of them, it is a wonderful feeling. I thank God that they don't have to suffer anymore." Lotte, you are now once again reunited with your family, and we will always keep you forever in our thoughts and hearts and do our best to live the lessons you taught us. May Lotte's memory be a blessing for generations to come. We love you so much, Lot, and we'll never forget you.